Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Annie and this is Unity Consciousness. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'd like to welcome our new subscribers and also thank those of you who are joining us for this week's energy update. Before we get started, I do want to show appreciation for veterans. Anyone who has served in the armed forces, my heart goes out to you. I come from a very strong background of folks who served in the military, so I definitely have a soft spot. And I just want to wish you a good Veterans Weekend. Anyway, let's get started. Over the course of the week, last week, we began to feel the influence and then the opposition of Mars and Taurus. And now this week, it is going to get even more intense. So this week is going to be very different from previous weeks where we had started the week slow and then built up to a crescendo of energy, where this week we are starting out with a very intense energy and it's going to build. Then over the course of the week, it gets a little bit lighter. So let's jump right in. Tomorrow, Monday, the 13th, is a new moon. We will see a new moon in the sign of Scorpio. That ruler is Pluto, which is the current day ruler, and Mars, which is the ancient ruler. And as you know, we've been talking about Mars. With the sun and moon, a new moon is when the sun and moon are near each other, next to each other in the sky. So much so that the moon absolutely disappears. It's dark of night, right? Which is perfect for a Scorpio new moon, right? Anyway, the sun and the moon creates a new beginning. When they come together, a new moon is all about new beginnings. Now let's add the sun and the moon and Mars conjuncting together at the same time at a new moon. That is new beginnings with intensity, or intense new beginnings. Then you take the sun, the moon, and Mars all together over here and in opposition to Uranus. Now we're talking. That is a complete breakthrough, because Uranus is here, a complete breakthrough of anything that is keeping you from being your true, authentic self, so that you can instigate or appreciate an intense new beginning. Wow, right? Wow, yeah. So here we go. Let's go. So let's talk a little bit more about the Scorpio energy. So we've talked about this before. Scorpios are just master alchemists, in my opinion. They can transform and do multiple times over the course of a life cycle. Absolutely. You know, Phoenix rising from the ashes is the manner in which they conduct themselves. And with a very potent new moon, 2/3 through the sign of Scorpio, this new moon is at 20 degrees, or 2/3 through the sign already. It's helping us to first understand the power that is Scorpio. Like I said, that is, truth, dignity, digging deep for the purpose of transformation. You're digging deep to get to the truth of a matter, but you're putting all this energy into it so that you can reignite or come back out of the ashes, as we spoke before. And that's all on the 5D level, right? On a 3D level, it's a little bit more vicious. Well, a lot more vicious, actually. On a 3-dimensional level, Scorpio can be all about manipulation and control and jealousy and drama and all of that. So that's the kind of energy that we want to stay away from. We want to harness that 5-dimensional energy so that we can instigate a new beginning, especially in a place where Scorpio, whatever house that represents in your natal chart. So take a look at your natal chart. Where does Scorpio sit? What house is that? And then know that's where this transformation is going to take place. Now, in addition to this new moon, we have a Mars Cazimi. So Mars, over the course of the week, it's going to perfect on Thursday, but over the course of the week, Mars is going to end up conjuncting with the sun, which is intensity, absolute intensity. And once Mars reemerges, just be prepared for a new cycle. There will be some intermittent, if you feel like your energy is just dropped, that's because Mars has disappeared into the sun. And the sun's purpose is to dissolve Mars energy so that when Mars passes through the sun or disappears into the sun, then reemerges, there's an entirely different cycle that will be emerging. So, how to just put this into perspective for you, the last time that we had a Mars Cazimi, which happens every 2 years, by the way, Mars disappears into the sun every 2 years. But the last time Mars disappeared in Scorpio was in 1991. 1991. So we're getting ready to instigate a new cycle for the next 2 years in an area of your chart where what Scorpio represents. But this is going to instigate a cycle of, let's see, Mars is all about, motivation and momentum. And this is where we will see, once Mars reemerges the first part of next week and comes out the other side of the sun, and then it becomes visible in the sky a little bit later down the road. But nonetheless, we will begin to feel this momentum and motivation in this area of our chart once the Mars reemerges after disappearing behind the sun. So it's important that we use this very potent energy in a way that is going to benefit us, right? Let's talk about the outer planets at the same time. So we've got the outer planets at the time of this new moon. So let's talk about the outer planets. Remember, the outer planets are dictating kind of like the collective vibe of this moon. So let's talk about that just for a minute, because they're going to give us some clues into just what the universe wants us to tap into, what the universe is providing as a tool that we can take away from this new moon. So Neptune, which is retrograde in the sign of Pisces, is going to trine the sun, moon, and Mars, and it's going to sextile Uranus, very positive energy. You've got Pluto, which is not going to aspect the sun, the moon, or Mars in any way, shape, or form. It's an outer planet. That's why I'm speaking of it. But it is going to trine Venus in Libra, and it's going to trine Uranus, which is in Taurus. Love that energy too. Positive transformations that are balanced, relationship balance, right? I love this. And then finally, as we spoke about, Uranus, which is opposite. It's opposing the sun, the moon, and Mars, but it is trine Pluto and it is sextile Neptune. This, whatever facade is in place that you are keeping up or that you've been forced to take on, whatever facade is in place that no longer aligns with any motivational force and is keeping you from your true authentic self, is going to be demolished. It needs to go. And Mars is going to help us cut away, and Uranus is going to help us be authentic in the process, right? This is a very, very, very powerful time when Mars is going to provide the wherewithal. Once it emerges out of the sun, it's going to give us the wherewithal to cut away the things that no longer align with where we want to be. I'm going to ask you to trust whatever comes up. Awareness is key. Stay in awareness, clock in. We've got Uranus here, so that's the wild card energy. Expect the unexpected. Please clock in when you're driving. Please clock in when you're out in the world. Just clock in. Make sure that you're aware. That's very important, especially in order for us to observe the situation. We need to make sure we're clocked in. So, that sudden insight will propel us forward, but let's stay in that aware place, if we could, please. Also this week, have a couple other things going on. On the 15th, which is Wednesday, we have Mercury, which is in the sign of Sagittarius, is going to sextile Venus in Libra. Love this energy. It's going to help us make sense of some of this new moon energy. It might take into next week before we fully understand it, but this energy is very conducive for, optimism and hope and balance through communication. Sit down with a friend. If you're really super perplexed on something, sit down with a friend, talk it through. Especially if it's somebody that you have a very balanced relationship with. Well, during Scorpio season, if you don't have a balanced relationship, you're not going to tolerate anyway. However, spend time with somebody that you're in a balanced relationship with, bounce ideas off, have good, solid communications. Optimistic, hopeful ideas will certainly come to the forefront, that's for certain. Then on Thursday of this week, the 17th, that's when that Mars Cazimi is going to take place. And at that time, Mars, which again, disappearing into the sun, is going to trine Neptune in Pisces. And, you know, Neptune's very healing, compassionate. Again, it is retrograde, but nonetheless, that's healing and compassionate energy. It's certainly going to help us with that inner peace, because there's a whole lot of intensity here. I could feel the revving up yesterday and again this morning. This energy is really going to help us balance that, help us find, you know, inner peace that comes from awareness and acceptance. Three-dimensional Neptune, let's talk about that just briefly. It can be very misguided spirituality, or you know, unwanted soapbox moments where you just want to teach the world everything about everything right now, and this is a great opportunity to do it. Well, I would suggest we probably shouldn't be jumping on our soapbox to talk about spirituality and our way is the right way and that sort of thing. So just be mindful of this. Neptune is retrograde. Neptune can, in retrograde status and relative to 3D, it can be very disillusioning and somewhat deceitful energy. It can also lead us down a path of toxicity relative to trying to cover up things. So we just want to use this energy wisely. Again, stay in that 5-dimensional or greater energy, and you will derive the greatest benefit from all of this energy. It really is here for us to push us where we need to be. And, you know, Mars, I love that Mars is disappearing into the sun, because, you know, while the trine with Neptune is present, Mars is dissolved into the light of the sun. It's getting ready to reemerge with new passion, new vigor, and that pursuit is going to last for 2 years. For 2 years, let Neptune, even though it's retrograde, bring healing and compassion, and stay away from any spiritual gangster themes or, you know, warfare tactics. Let's just call that what it is. So, well, that's all I have for you this week. We do have a lot of eruptive energy. As I mentioned, I've seen some uptick in certainly solar flares, but also earthquake phenomena. So just be mindful of this as we move forward. We've got Uranus, which is very activated, and that's earth energy. It's in the sign of Taurus. So just be mindful of earth events for sure. Observe Scorpio season. Observe. Find that eagle's perch when things get overwhelming. If they get overwhelming, find the eagle's perch, observe, and steer clear of any drama that may want to dive into your sphere. Just stand down. No need. There really is no need. This is a new moon. Set a new intention. A lot of potent energy surrounding this new moon. So set that new intention, but do so just after the new moon perfects. I believe it's like 4:20 in the morning Monday. So as you're waking up on Monday morning, think about that new intention if you're in the Americas. Otherwise, 4:26 a.m. I think it is Eastern time. Find out what time that is in your time zone. Then after that new moon perfects, set the new intention that aligns with this energy. I don't think it will steer you wrong. Go for breakthroughs that help you align with your authentic self, wherever that happens to be in your chart. So today I chose the Field Tarot by Hannah Elizabeth Fofana. The field. I figured since we're talking about the outer planet energy, let's talk about what it's going to bring for us. And the card that jumped out is Instigation, Prince of Wands. instigation. Of course it is. It's a new moon. The archetype is one who creates waves, takes risks, and projects confidence. His energy is harnessed through passion and motivation. Boy, that sure speaks of Mars. And is especially important in the pursuit of a vision. That's our new beginning, isn't it? However, this hunger for the next adventure can mean failing to enjoy the present moment. So we need to enjoy our journey. The keywords for this card are action, adventure, enthusiasm, thrill-seeking, commitment, and charisma. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, please do click the like button. If you know somebody that can be helped by this video, please do co-create with me and share this with them. If you want to know when videos are being dropped, click the subscribe button and you will know when they're being dropped. Any comments or suggestions, I love hearing from you. Please put them in the comments section below. I hope you have a fabulous week of just unbridled energy out of nowhere, projecting you forward in a true place of authenticity with this fabulous new beginning that will be in place for the next 2 years with Mars acceleration in our wake. Have a great week. Namaste.